now on the CTV News at 5. A Lethbridge man is accused of the human trafficking of minors. Plus, the city's river valley is as dry now as it would be in August. And 22 rail cars of coal are spilled in a train derailment near Elkford.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. Lethbridge police have arrested and charged a man after 3 teenage girls were found held against their will in his apartment. 50-year-old Sky Ateo now faces charges of unlawful confinement, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking. Quinn Keenan has more.
On December 19th, police responded to a report that a 14-year-old girl was being held in an apartment along the 500 block of 8th Street South. When police arrived, they found a 14-year-old girl in medical distress. After she was transported to hospital, police executed a search warrant on the apartment and found 2 more girls aged 15 and 16. Atoa was later arrested without incident.
Timely and thorough response by our initial patrol investigators, as well as some tremendous work by our downtown policing unit, as well as our criminal investigation section, have brought this to a successful conclusion. The
14-year-old told police she had been held there for 3 days and was repeatedly sexually assaulted by Atoa and other men over those days. The 15 and 16-year-old were in the apartment for a few hours where Atoa exposed himself to the girls. The victims were from vulnerable populations.
Anytime these type of incidents happen, it's concerning, and public safety has remained our #1 priority. And so making sure that these incidents are investigated thoroughly and that we involve all the appropriate resources are paramount.
Atoa is also charged with another sexual assault back in October. In that case, a 24-year-old vulnerable woman was sexually assaulted at his apartment. Atoa has been in custody since mid-December and was granted bail Monday. He's expected to be released today with several conditions. Police believe there may be additional victims and are asking any victims or people with information to come forward. Atoa will appear in court February 2nd. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, Lethbridge police are also looking for this man. 36-year-old Joshua Myers is wanted on 3 outstanding warrants for failing to comply with release conditions. If you have seen Myers or know of his whereabouts, you're asked to contact City Police or Crime Stoppers. Transportation Safety Board investigators are trying to determine what caused a train derailment north of Elkford, BC. 22 rail cars filled with coal went off the tracks this morning. Fortunately, there were no injuries. The derailment north of Elkford between Green Hills and Fording River is close to 2 mines. Other than one road being blocked by spilled coal, there is no other environmental impact. Firefighters are still trying to find the cause of a large grass fire in the city's River Valley this afternoon. CTV was one of the first on the scene as Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services along with Lethbridge Police were responding. The fire shortly before 1 o'clock near Mountain View Cemetery. Now, because of the size of the fire and amount of smoke, police closed Scenic Drive in both directions while fire crews responded. The road reopened about an hour later. The fire scorched a large area of the coulees on the south side of the cemetery near the Lethbridge Country Club. No word yet if anyone was injured or the cause of the blaze. And just down the road, fire crews responded to a second grass fire, this one in the early morning hours today. The fire was burning uphill near Scenic Drive and 10th Avenue South towards homes. Fortunately, firefighters were able to contain it in time. As a result, the fire department has issued a fire ban for the River Valley due to the warmer temperatures, the strong winds, and low humidity.
The levels are extreme right now. Our levels in the River Valley and all over the city are more or less like they would be in August during a drought. It is so dry. The winds, as we all know, these last few days just dries it out even more, and the smallest little spark can spread so quickly that it just very easy to get out of control.
As for the fire early this morning, the city of Lethbridge is reminding residents to report encampments through 311.
So we always encourage vulnerable populations to access resources like the Lethbridge Shelter. We do a lot of engagement with businesses around hotspot encampment areas to reduce fire hazards such as pallets, propane tanks. We also work with the unhoused population to try and reduce flammable materials within their encampments as well as fire hazards within them.
The fire ban prohibits all open fires in the River Valley, including campfires, fire pits, and charcoal barbecues. All right, Danielle Zavoni, let's talk about this forecast. And you've been warning us tomorrow is going to be even warmer.
So no real moisture in the forecast. Warmer temperatures tomorrow. The winds will pick up a little bit more than what we had today. So speaking of winds, 72 kilometers per hour. That was the max in Pincher Creek today. Mid 50s for Lethbridge and low 50s for Medicine Hat. We're going to get a little windier tomorrow. Not as bad as it was yesterday, though. It likely won't issue and prompt those wind warnings. And temperatures will be able to climb at least a couple degrees warmer for most communities as well tomorrow. But at this point, we're sitting at 10 degrees in Pincher Creek, 13 in Lethbridge, Milk River at 12, as well as Medicine Hat, 11 in Brooks. Look at all those double digits. We'll talk more about that forecast coming up, Jackie.
All right. Thanks, Danielle. Alberta's top doctor says the province has peaked following a surge in influenza cases at the end of December, and illness rates are now coming down. But pharmacists in Lethbridge say the risk is still there. Carson Marsouk has that story.
It's been a steady flow of people coming in to get the influenza vaccine at the medicine shop in Lethbridge over the past month.
We did like over maybe 1,000 vaccines this year.
The rise came as cases peaked in December with more than 1,000 people testing positive for the flu.
In like 2024, we did not see many cases of influenza. But this year we have seen like almost at our pharmacy, almost over 30 people.
A large wave of influenza A rose steeply in December, with cases now dropping to about 500.
Influenza seasons always vary every year to a degree. This season we had an early peak, and it was also predominant strain of influenza A, H3, and 2. This is typically a strain of influenza that is more severe compared to other strains.
During the peak, significant pressure was placed on emergency departments, but Dr. Vivian Suttorp anticipates that to now ease.
74% of hospitalized cases of influenza, both in the kids and the elderly and all demographic, have not been immunized this year.
And while the worst may have passed, pharmacists say it's still important to get vaccinated.
Especially with the changing weather, because we're getting really cold and now it's really good weather. Then it's cold, so during that time the influenza virus is activate more. So if we get the vaccine, that's better.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
19% of Albertans have been immunized for the flu this year, but there are still Albertans in hospital with COVID-19. Now, Dr. Suttorp says those cases are stable and low at this point. A charter challenge in Vancouver could have major ramifications across the country. It's being led by the family of a woman with terminal cancer who was forced to leave a hospital in order to access medical assistance and dying. CTV's Andrew Johnson has that story.
Sam O'Neill knew the end was coming soon. There was no stopping the cancer that had spread throughout her body.
We miss our daughter every minute of every day.
The one thing the 34-year-old could control in April 2023 was how her final moments would play out, or so she thought. She was assessed for medical assistance in dying and planned a ceremony surrounded by friends and family. O'Neill was receiving palliative care at Vancouver's St. Paul's Hospital, where she said staff were exceptional. But a faith-based institution, St. Paul's, doesn't allow Maid.
St. Paul's is a Catholic-run hospital, but it is also publicly funded.
In her final hours, O'Neill had to be transferred to another facility before she was sedated for the drive. In extreme pain, her mom says there was only time for a rushed goodbye.
And I told Sam quickly that being her mom was the first most joyful part of my life. I love being her mom.
O'Neill's death didn't play out as planned. After being sedated, she never regained consciousness before Maid was administered. O'Neill's mother is now the lead plaintiff in a constitutional challenge in BC Supreme Court. At the heart of the case, the Maid exemption the BC government grants to faith-based institutions.
We believe that no one should lose access to end-of-life care based on where they happen to receive treatment.
Providence Healthcare oversees St. Paul's Hospital and says in a statement it has a long-standing moral tradition of compassionate care that neither prolongs dying nor hastens death, rooted in the belief that all life is sacred.
In the aftermath of O'Neill's death, the province created a separate building on the St. Paul's Hospital site for patients undergoing Maid. The plaintiffs in the charter challenge say that's not good enough. A decision is expected by late summer or fall. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Statistics Canada is cutting hundreds of jobs with 100 layoffs happening immediately this week. The federal agency says it's entering into a workforce adjustment period, impacting about 850 positions, 12% of its executive team as well. In the fall, Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne said that the Canadian Public Service had grown too large. The Liberals are looking to reduce the size of the service from its peak of more than 367,000 employees in March of 2024 to 330,000 by 2029. McDonald's Canada is dropping the price of its McValue meals to $5. It's also freezing the price of its small coffee to $1. The prices will remain that way for at least a year. It follows a shift in public perception around dining out. Now, in recent years, more people than ever are being cost conscious and willing to go wherever they feel they get the best value for their dollar. Danielle is back with the 5-day forecast on the other side of this break. Plus, the province announces changes to cervical cancer detection. That story next.
A beautiful shot from an hour ago facing southwest. Really nice day. Yes, a little on the windy side, and it'll get even a little windier tomorrow. Temperatures will get a little warmer tomorrow with that as well, because they go hand in hand at this time of year with these Chinooks. All right, 10 degrees is the temperature in Calgary. Check out in the far south, though, 12 in Lethbridge. All places pretty much have been in the double digits at least. And Lethbridge just a moment ago was in the teens. Milk River just a moment ago was in the double digits as well. Pincher Creek is at 9, Medicine Hat Brooks at 10 degrees, so still holding on to those double digits. Here's a look at the maximum wind gusts today, and it was in the 50s for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, and just in the 70s for Pincher Creek, just above 70 here. So let's fast forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow it will pick up a little bit. It won't be as bad as yesterday, where we had the risk of 120 kilometer per hour gusts, but we're looking at 80, potentially 90 in the Pincher Creek area, 60 up to 70 in Lethbridge, and around that 40 mark for Medicine Hat and Brooks. So yes, windy, but not excessive wind, but certainly enough to get in the way a little bit of you enjoying the warmth. When we talk conditions, there will be some cloudy periods at times that will track through the far south, but we're also looking at most of this clearing out for tomorrow. So tomorrow, mainly sunny with the occasional cloudy period out there. So I'll play this through the hour by hour, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. Unfortunately, we do need the moisture. It's not in the forecast for this week. This week is the warm and windy story. There you go. There's a couple cloudy periods that will arrive here and there, and the winds will pick up here and there as well. But outside the warmth and the wind, there's not a whole lot that you need to worry about in the far south. Okay, East Kootenay area, 2 degrees overnight. There will be fog patches, and that fog will last for the entire morning tomorrow. And you're looking at mainly cloudy skies for the day tomorrow. Should get up to about 5 degrees. Kersness past 6 overnight, gusting 60 kilometers per hour for the evening, and then calming down a bit. And then we have the winds back again for tomorrow, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. We may even have a gust up to 90. That will carry us, though, up to 15 degrees. These Chinooks, yes, certainly drier. It's windier, and it's definitely warmer. We may break some records. Some of these communities will break some records tomorrow as well with this warmth, because we're at least the daytime highs we had today, if not warmer. 1 degree in Medicine Hat, 13 for tomorrow. So similar daytime high in Medicine Hat. Similar winds, though, gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour for tomorrow. Lethbridge, 60, so a little bit windier and a little bit warmer. This may break a record, 18, 19 degrees, we'll have to see. And then we get to a more reasonable warmth, 6 degrees for Thursday, 4 for Friday, but back to the double digits to kick off the weekend.
Pap tests have long been the standard approach to identifying cervical cancer in women, but now the province has announced screening for human papillomavirus infection will eventually eliminate routine PAPs here in Alberta. HPV is a common infection spread through sexual contact. The province says cervical cancer is almost always caused by subtypes of HPV. It says scientific evidence shows HPV testing is the most effective way to identify cervical cancer. Women won't notice much of a change since they still need to go to the doctor to have a sample collected. The HPV test, however, is only recommended once every 5 years instead of once every 3 years, and eventually self-testing will be an option.
Self-sampling allows our patients to collect the sample by themselves, either in the health provider's office or even at home to be then mailed back or delivered back to the lab for further testing. So with that, yeah, I think it allows increased access to testing.
This test is already being offered to people aged 50 to 69. Planning to expand the test to 25 to 49-year-olds is underway, and once that happens, routine PAPs will no longer be offered. There's a nationwide recall for no-name brand beef burgers because of potential E. coli contamination. The recall affects 1.36 kilogram packages of no-name beef burgers with best before dates of May 5th, 2026. Now, there haven't been any reported illnesses associated with the recall. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says if you have one of these products, either throw it out or return it. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we check in on construction of the Olympic Arena in Italy. Welcome back. In BCHL action, the Brooks Bandits are in action tonight. Now they'll play a rare Tuesday night game on the road against the Okotoks Oilers. This is only the second time this season the two Alberta teams have met. Brooks won the first meeting 4-2. That was back in September. The Bandits haven't lost to the Oilers over the past 5 seasons, riding an 18-game winning streak over their Alberta rivals. Puck drop is 7:05. Preparations for this summer's NHL draft are well underway. Several players in southern Alberta are being eyed up as potential draft picks. Now, the Hurricanes had 3 players crack NHL Central Scouting's midterm rankings recently. Recently acquired Kyle Hager led the way as the 67th ranked North American skater. Also making the list, Gavin Lesiuk at 177, Nathan Maloney at 220. The Medicine Hat Tigers, they have 6 players on the latest rankings. Liam and Marcus Ruck came in at 26th and 31st North American skaters, respectively. Yaroslav Brazaglov, Riley Stee and Caden McCann are also featured. Carter Casey made it as the 12th ranked goalie. The 2026 NHL entry draft will take place June 26th and the 27th in Buffalo. Well, the 2026 Winter Olympics don't start until next month, but a Calgarian has already made history for the Games. This is video from one of our previous stories with ice master Mark Messer. He's been working at Calgary's Olympic Oval since 1987 and has contributed to 6 previous Olympics. This time, he was taken to Italy and has created the Games' first indoor temporary speed skating rink. He's been working on the ice since October. The 2026 Olympics run February the 6th to the 22nd. Now, meantime, the NHL and its players' union have seen firsthand the status of the unfinished main rink for next month's Olympics. Crews are rushing to complete the arena in time for the Milano Cortina Games. The inside of the venue remains under construction, with hospitality areas and locker rooms yet to be completed. This past weekend, the league and the PA attended a test game there between Italy's top teams. In a joint statement, the NHL and the union said they were pleased with the event and will continue to monitor progress on the remaining work. Well, we now know which figure skaters will represent Canada at the upcoming Winter Games in Italy. The roster announced Monday consists of 7 veterans and 5 Olympic first-timers. Ice dancers Piper Gillies and Paul Poirier will be making their 3rd Olympic appearance together. Diana Stellato-Dudic will be making her Olympic debut in the pairs event. At 42, she becomes the oldest female figure skater in nearly a century to compete at the Winter Games. The Milan Cortina Olympics, as we said, get underway February the 6th. An investigation has surfaced after a bizarre sight involving a group of 8-year-old hockey players brawling on the ice without any parents stepping in. A wild scene in Pennsylvania at a Mites on Ice event during the intermission of an AHL game. Players throwing punches, swinging sticks, even hurling themselves on top of each other. The Atlantic Amateur Hockey Association condemning the chaos, promising disciplinary action against players and team officials involved with what it calls a staged fight. Well, turning to football, CFL winter meetings are taking place in Calgary this week with a long list of discussion topics on the agenda, most notably the league's announced rule changes.
Once the 25 season concluded, you have a little bit more time to look at those things and some of the things that are being proposed, you can kind of steal a little bit of ideas from different places and then different situations.
The league is taking the next step towards their implementation and exactly what they'll look like on the field as coaches and GMs discuss the new rules with the league for the first time.
Make sure you don't change too much because you'll never know which rule made the difference, which one did. So, change a little bit here and there, sure, but make sure you keep the game, which has made it a good game, a great game, and what we feel like is highly competitive each and every week.
Also on the agenda, modifications to short yardage plays, overtime formats, playoff structures, free agency, and a review of the replay center's mandate. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. Although a BC woman may have lost her ability to see, she has an incredible insight to helping others. Her story is next. Finally this afternoon, Adam Sawatsky shows us how a Victoria senior uses resilience and kindness to turn pain into purpose and create bonds that last a lifetime.
While she's waiting to visit a longtime friend, Teppy Hughes is stopping to make some new feathered ones.
So I was just telling the seagulls to go to the ocean and get some fish.
Teppy can still remember how both animals look, despite smallpox stealing her sight when she was 7.
Now I'm 65 years old and I don't even look at, right?
But before growing up to become a confident woman, Teppy was a fearful girl.
I didn't even know I was going to be being loved by anybody.
She endured people who were cruel and others even worse before deciding to transform her hurt by helping others healing.
I can show them how to love people, not to be hurting them.
So she committed to spending countless hours volunteering for charities that help her neighbors in need.
It feels like it's good things he's doing for other people.
And be the best friend to folks like 94-year-old Eugene, who Teppy visits at his care home.
Oh, she's a friendly person.
If you ask Eugene the secret to their enduring friendship, he'll credit their shared humor by making a joke.
She's small. She won't beat me up.
She will beat you up. Yeah, right.
If you ask Teppy the same question, she'll praise his thoughtfulness.
I don't think I could ever find anybody like him.
Although Teppy lost her sight, she says she's gained the vision to make the world a better place in whatever way she can.
Don't live it in the past. Go forward. And if you love with the world will laugh with you and smile with you.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.